is a vampire.
Just saw 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game.
Hey, let's go! Get in here! Get in here right now! Get in here!
You are now watching College Football Frenzy. Here are your hosts, JJ Seglio and Jake Marino.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome back to another episode of College Football Frenzy. I'm JJ Seglio. He's Jake Marino. Jake, we're back on our normal upload day. How we doing on this great Monday afternoon?
Oh, sun's shining. It's beautiful outside. It feels like summer again, dude. In the low 80s.
I don't know why. I don't understand why it has been so hot in New York over the last few weeks. It's kind of ridiculous.
Like, you got to keep it like that. You got to keep it for October.
I'm a cold weather guy. I'm a cold weather guy, and you'll learn that about me very quickly. Well, let's not waste any time. We got a lot to discuss today. Now, we're going to start things off a little bit differently because there were a lot of things that happened this past weekend. And crazy as it sounds, coaches are already getting fired. And the first one that I want to talk about came out of, I'm pretty sure, Blacksburg, Virginia. But I don't want to say that I'm surprised. I just want to say right now to all the Virginia Tech fans, you all owe me an apology. I expected your team to actually be somewhat good, not firing your head coach 3 weeks into the season. Brett Pry got fired this past weekend after giving up 40 points at home to Old Dominion of all teams. What did you think seeing blasted at home against ODU?
I mean, it's really a surprise, but I don't think it was appropriate to fire him right away. Only 3 weeks in, maybe if he did that a couple weeks later. But I mean, I guess good for Virginia Tech. They're making a statement saying we're not tolerating that.
I mean, let's face it, he was not a good. I followed Virginia Tech a little bit. Brett Pry was not that good of a coach. He was probably like average at best. If I had to really put my 2 cents into it. I think that he definitely could have done a much better job than much better job. He got freaking fired. But he was just never that guy for me to lead the Hokies. Like, he was decent, don't get me wrong, but you could have done so much better than get a guy like Brent Pry. And that brings me to the second head coach that got terminated, and that was out of the University of UCLA. The Nico Iamaleava experiment is going to go down as one of the worst experiments in the history of experiments in college football, because not only is UCLA 0-3, they fired their first-year head coach 3 games into the season.
Again, I think this was more shocking than the Virginia Tech one. I mean, the hype surrounding the new quarterback and new head coach, and just giving them only 3 games to work here, I think is pretty embarrassing as a university, and not just as a university, but the college football program too, to be like, you know what, these guys haven't showed anything in 3 weeks. They're done, right? Yeah, I think it's pretty bizarre.
I mean, granted, they got blew out by New Mexico in the Rose Bowl this past weekend. So I don't want to say I'm surprised, because I'm really not. But, I mean, you want to talk about –
I'm surprised it was 3 weeks in. If, again, a year in, yes, for a coach to be fired, but 3 games, that's a little sketchy. I feel like something else is going on there.
Oh, there definitely is. And we can now probably confirm that Nico Iamaleava will go down as one of, if not the worst, offseason transfers in the history of college football.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying because, he's so bad. It's the fact that he was talking about getting $4 million per year. What's going on? I hope you're doing well. We're about to get into your boys in just a moment. Now, I just want to say right now, we talked about this on the show, and you said you're going to be in my DMs if something happened. Well, I can tell you one thing, the exact opposite of what you thought was going to happen. And I feel like it's best described in just one picture and one picture only. I mean, just look at that scene of white in Atlanta, Georgia. The Yellow Jackets upset the Clemson Tigers. I told you! I told all of you! That's going to come back to bite me in about 15 minutes. Let me have this. I told all of you that Georgia Tech was going to win this game. And sure enough, they did. Cade Klubnik, absolutely abhorrent performance again. And I'll tell you what, Jake, it all comes down to the injury of Antonio Williams because he is clearly the difference maker for this club.
Cade is lost out there, and it's hard to just to see that coming because I know a couple of weeks ago when we were putting our predictions in there, we said Nussmeier and Klubnik will be top 2 quarterbacks for a Heisman, right? And now,
I did say Jeremiah Smith. I did say Jeremiah Smith
and Smith. I'm talking about quarterbacks, top.
Quarterbacks wise, yes.
Yes.
I was one of the guys that said Klubnik over Nuss. I look like an idiot now for saying that. So, like I said, that statement would have came back to bite me in about 10 minutes. It ended up biting me in less than that. But I'll tell you what, the Irish lad, Aiden Burr, has fucking ice in his veins.
Yeah, he does. I mean,
55-yarder game winner, did it like it was no one's business. And that
had one job.
That fire drill was phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, they had no timeouts left. They took the knee. They got off the field. They kicked it with 8 seconds left.
I think if I recall last week, I did say it was going to be a close game. Again, I'm giving much credit to Georgia Tech. I never took any credit away from them, but I thought Clemson was just a better overall team. But I guess not that day.
Haynes King out of himself a pretty solid day with 211 pass yards, 20 for 28. I'm pretty sure over 25 carries, 103 rushing yards. A very great day for Justice Haynes as he had a touchdown. A good day for Eric Rivers with 78 yards. Bryant Wesco played really well, I would say, with 7 catches, 126. But it was just the turnovers. Like Dabo said, you have to win the turnover battle. And his guys did not do that whatsoever. Nope. So, I mean, it is what it is. Clemson fans, don't worry. You're not lockout of the week. Matter of fact, you didn't even have the most embarrassing loss this weekend.
I think the most embarrassing loss was not Georgia, not Tennessee. I'm sorry, was Duke Tulane.
That was pretty bad too.
That was bad for Mensah. You're getting paid $4 million, and you're 1-2, and your former team and coach John Summerall is 3-0, right?
Yeah,
with the new quarterback. I think.
Shout out Jake.
I told you. Dude, I'm telling you, dude. I told you last week. I said Tulane's gonna go in there. They're gonna show what's up with their why Mensah. What the hell? Why'd you leave, right? And they upgraded. I think they upgraded. Retzloff has been playing out of his mind past 3 games. Mensah, he did have 313 passing yards, but again, Retzloff, another.
Our defense isn't bad. It's just Klubnik sells the offense. Yeah, I agree. Klubnik's been terrible.
Yeah,
no debate about it, but. I yearned to talk about this. I want nothing to do with this, but unfortunately we have to because it was probably the game of the frickin' year that happened in South Bend this weekend. These guys completely let me down for what feels like the 800th time. And I just had a hunch, bro. After watching the first half, I knew we were losing.
I mean,
disaster struck is the nicest way I can put it.
Watching the first half, you knew it was going to come down to who has the ball last, right?
Yep.
The defense was just – I'm not saying the defense was bad or good.
Non-existent.
But you have to give credit to both offenses. They were actually really solid, right?
They were.
Yeah. So, it came down to who had the ball. And I think a crucial point where Marcus Freeman should have done was he should have let A&M score. So now they have – a chance with the ball with a minute left. They had enough time to kick a field goal, and that's all they needed to win.
But nobody in the right mind would have thought declining a holding call on a kick return would have actually been a good decision. No one thought that.
No.
You would expect your defense. By the way, I just want to say Notre Dame dropped 4 interceptions in this game. 4. And Carson Hobbs, who I want that man's scholarship revoked. He is just the worst cornerback I've ever seen. There was a guy that played for Notre Dame. He wore the number 6, and he was just one of the worst cornerbacks I've ever seen. And was just an absolute atrocity to watch. Clarence Lewis. That was his name. Clarence Lewis. Christian Hobbs, congratulations. You have somehow sunk to a level that is worse than Clarence Lewis, which I thought was completely impossible. You're somehow even worse.
They could have used
It takes
Xavier.
talent to be this bad.
They could have used Xavier Watts last night. Yeah, he was tearing it up for the Falcons.
They could have used Benjamin Morrison if he chose to come back another year after he suffered the injury. They could have used Jaden Mickey, who went over to LSU. But the one play I know everyone wants to talk about the holding call, the missed holding call on the touchdown by A&M. But I just want to touch on this. The game and legitimacy was lost after you ejected Adon Schuler for that awful targeting call.
Yeah.
So did you see that, by the way?
I didn't see it, but I've heard about it. I was listening to a podcast this morning. They were
so Marcel Reed is trying to scramble. Adon Schuler, obviously, Mike Mose puts his head down, but leans with his right shoulder. His helmet goes into Marcel Reed's shoulder. He lays on the ground, and then the flag comes in. Marcel Reed plotted him worse than SGA would at the freaking free throw line. I swear to God. And again, I could touch on that holding call forever. The game was lost when you gave up 28 points in the first half. You made mistake after mistake. You had a 10-point lead and it vanished like it was nothing.
I think, but again, A&M, there was never a point where
they played great.
No, I think both offenses played great. The defense wasn't going to be there, especially in the first half when A&M went on that run. But at the entering the fourth quarter, you knew whoever had the ball last was going to win, right? And I think it's just like the point I made before. If Freeman,
it also sucked that we couldn't complete an extra point correctly. By the way, I don't know how the hell Tyler Buckner was allowed back at Notre Dame. That dude is literally the opposite of Rudy. Everyone universally hates him for obvious reasons.
It's unfortunate to see, right? It was you think, score a touchdown, let's go, we're gonna be up by 7, and then
this phone
that
exploded
happens
after the game was over.
Yeah,
this phone was blowing up nonstop. And by the way, look at my fucking lock screen. You don't realize how much Notre Dame football means to me, bro. It's literally the play like a champion today, staircase and the walkout out to the field. All this to be done by freaking Noah Borkacher. Don't get me wrong, good tight end, but the game was lost when you could not cover any of A&M's receivers. I mean, Kevin Conception didn't even have to have that big of an impact because Mario Craver was out there. Craver was doing everything. He had 200 yards. 200 yards on the so-called best secondary in college football. Chris Ash, you have somehow become even worse than Ben Boger was back in 2016. It's a disaster. Thank God they play Purdue next week.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
I don't know what fan base feels worse, Kansas State or Notre Dame.
No fan base has gone through more pain and suffering in the last 25 years.
I'm talking about this season, though. Kansas State.
State just sucks. State just sucks.
I mean,
Jesus Christ.
But they had high hopes too, right?
They did, but nowhere near as high as Notre Dame. Notre Dame was supposed to get back to the natty.
It's not like. But I'm saying it's not like Notre Dame's done. They're still ranked. Kansas State is not even sniffing the conference championship for them.
That is
right?
true.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not like your season's over. It's still. I think you're over.
It's almost over, man. It's almost over.
They just got to win out.
Now, and Miami has to win the ACC, or A&M makes the SEC title game.
Yeah, and SEC they get in the A&M gets in the SEC play this week. So
I love how somehow you're more optimistic than I am about my own college football team. And
because
you're
I
not even
think you got to take the glasses off and you got to realize like
the
it's not over.
glasses came off on
Like,
Saturday,
no,
my friend.
no.
I've been delusional about this team. I'll admit they don't deserve anywhere near a
Because
playoff.
you just have to look at the playoff. You just have to look at the other teams. There's no team. There's gonna be less undefeated teams than we had last year.
That is true. The
We're
college
not gonna have.
playoff is.
We're not gonna have another. I'm not saying. I'm no disrespect to SMU or Indiana. We're not gonna have a bunch of those, or even Boise State.
We
USF.
might.
No, we won't. No, there
We
won't
haven't
be.
gotten to the ranking discussion. We will talk about this when we talk about the rankings. We have more games to cover, and it's time we cover the game that everybody and their mother was watching this weekend. The showdown in Knoxville. The Georgia Bulldogs went into Knoxville and sure enough beat Tennessee again, just like I said they would. Georgia is that team this year. They are.
I don't know if I was with you on this one or not, but
I'm pretty sure you took Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken.
I think I did take Tennessee because they were in Knoxville. But again, it was a great game, great performance by both quarterbacks.
This game was drunk. I'm gonna just say it right now. This game was absolutely drunk. I mean, Joey Aguilar, you are gonna go down as the transfer pickup of the year. This dude played absolutely incredible and still lost.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It really is. I mean, you look back at his stat line this weekend. Joey Aguilar, 24 for 36, 371 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Those INTs are probably going to be what costs him at the end. But, I mean, hats off to the Volunteers. They played a phenomenal offensive game.
I think to your point about Georgia and how they are a really solid team, and they're definitely going to make a push for the Natty. But it's what you told me last year about Kirby Smart, how he knows how to manage in those big games. And I think, again, it's another example which he just proved, right, that he can really control the game. He's a great manager.
Overtime thriller, by the way. Like, this game was awesome. I loved it. Shout out, by the way, to Gunnar Stockton. 23 for 31, 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, a rating of, I'm pretty sure he had a QBR of, I think it was around 90-something. It's not showing me his QBR. It's showing me the efficiency rating. I got to find whatever his QBR was. But he had himself a really, really good game. Nate Frazier played really well. Zachariah Branch played really, really well. But offensively, I mean, I tell you what, man, Chris Brazzell is the freaking truth. That dude is unbelievable.
Yeah.
6 catches, 177 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was spectacular. Hell, friggin' Braylon Staley had a great game as well. I mean, Tennessee played a near perfect offensive game. They just couldn't get the job done.
I mean, you saw it with Notre Dame, too. I thought they were pretty perfect.
They were not perfect at all.
Dude, they ran the ball so much better than they did against Miami.
Well,
they gave Love more carries.
Still, I mean, yeah, granted, they did that, but then they also threw a costly interception before halftime, fumbled a snap. Like, they played undisciplined. But this ain't about Notre Dame. It's about Georgia, Tennessee. I think Georgia has officially, like, reminded everybody, listen, we're still the dogs of the SEC. We're going to go out there. We're going to put on a show. I cannot wait to see LSU play Georgia this year because I think LSU is going to get steamrolled by Georgia. This is their conference again. And I will gladly admit I was wrong about this team.
Yep.
So there, Georgia fans, I said you weren't making the playoff. I was wrong. I was a moron. I had Florida over you. I'm sorry. You proved me wrong. Now go win the fucking SEC. Yeah. But speaking of the SEC, we do have one more game that we are going to dive deep into. And this is a game that I'm not sure if you called this, but somebody called this and was, I mean, it was a great win, but it came at a cost. The Vanderbilt Commodores not only winning, but they flat out destroyed South Carolina.
Diego went into South Carolina and absolutely slammed his hammer.
Slam the hammer and Williams-Brice. He played absolutely phenomenal. But
they really showed up.
They did show up, but it came at a major cost.
Yeah.
And that was the injury to Lenora Sellers.
Well, I don't think, looking at just watching the game, right? Sellers wasn't there. He really didn't have it. And then once he got hurt, then, there's no next man up mentality, right? You'd expect to have a little motivation, but it didn't go as planned, and they just really kind of folded after that.
Yeah, Rashul Faison had a good game, but even if Sellers plays, I still think Vanderbilt wins. Vanderbilt was just on one that game, and shout out to the duo of Cedric Alexander and I'm pretty sure Jamzel Lassiter. I'm not sure if that's how I say his name, but those guys with a combined 120 yards. Vanderbilt played one of the best games I've seen from them. And the defense. Oh, my God. I've never seen a defense play that good in South Carolina ever.
Yeah.
They were phenomenal.
Vandy just controlled it from the start.
The better team. They were the better team from the opening snap.
Yeah. That day.
I'll tell you what, it was a huge day for the SEC.
Yeah, it was.
It really was. They were definitely the big winners of the day. A couple of other notable results that we could touch on. Miami absolutely slaughtered South Florida, so USF's hopes of making the playoff are pretty much dead unless they win out. LSU defeated Florida 20-10. That shouldn't really come as a surprise. LSU did look horrible, though. Ole Miss beat Arkansas in an absolute thriller that game was. That was a fun one to watch. What else did we have that was worth talking about? I'm trying to think of the other games. Oh, Iowa State. What the hell was that? That was terrible. That was the worst game they played all year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Texas. You were saying?
No. I was you're lucky it was against the FCS school, right?
They're not an FCS school, but
not FCS. I'm sorry, FBS.
Sunbelt. Yeah. But still, that's a bad game for ISU. Texas Tech, Oregon State, that was a bloodbath. Texas Tech looks legit. Oregon beat Northwestern 34-14. What else was there? Oh, Alabama flat out blasted friggin' Wisconsin. That game was not even close.
Nope.
California beats Minnesota. Stanford somehow beat Boston College. FIU beats FAU for the first time in a while. Navy put the belt on Tulsa. Dude, Navy might actually win the American, bro.
They got a good team, dude. Blake Horvath.
They got a good team.
Listen, I'm an Army fan, but I respect Navy and what they've done over there.
You could not pay me to root for freaking Navy. Couldn't do it. I openly refuse.
I hope Horvath has a Bryson. I think he's gonna have a Bryson Daly season.
Also, App State, that was an absolute disaster. Lost by 16 to Southern Miss.
Yeah, I think I said something about how App State's gonna destroy them.
We look pretty dumb on that one.
Yeah,
we look pretty dumb on that one.
Yeah, don't sleep on Sunbelt.
Southern Miss is nice, man. USC beats Purdue, who gives two shits. Michigan State beat Youngstown State 41-24. Middle Tennessee State beat Nevada. Liberty lost to Bowling Green. The downfall of Liberty needs to absolutely be studied. They are just terrible right now. SMU, what the hell was that? You were trailing 10-0 against Missouri State. That was, again, awful performance. Won by 18, but who cares? Oh, yeah. What did you think of the backyard brawl between Pitt and West Virginia?
I don't really know. What do you think? Give me your thoughts.
I think Pitt played one of the worst games they've ever played. Eli Holstein could only do so much. It was a good day for Raphael Williams Jr., but it just was not
I think it's just a typical, another rivalry game where they're going to be, head to head in the trenches. But I just think, again, to your point, it just wasn't pretty watching.
Yeah, West Virginia had 434 total yards of offense. That's insane. Also, I just want to point this out for a second. Why the hell did UConn and Delaware say, you know what, I'm going to have the game of the year that nobody watched?
Yeah.
I mean, why was that game so good?
I really don't. I wish I had an answer for that, right? UConn just they're embarrassing themselves week after week this season, right?
Yeah, I mean, UConn is just an absolute atrocity.
Jim Mora's era might come to end shortly.
I would be shocked.
I'd
Shout
hope
out Delaware, though, for picking up their first FBS win. But
Yeah.
seriously,
What-
why
what-
the hell
what-
was that game so good?
What about Monmouth and Charlotte?
That was
Monmouth
another
was in a-
really good game for
And
some
a
awkward reason.
7-point lead, only won by 7, right?
Yeah.
Shout out Monmouth Hawks.
Shout out Monmouth Hawks, former MAC opponent. All right, so let's dive into our next segment of the show, and that is our AP Top 25. But before we get into that, we are going to debut something brand new on the show. I am now putting out my edition of Weekly Top 25s. And we do have ourselves our first edition of my personal Top 25. And I cannot wait. All of you that are watching this stream, if you don't like what you see, come at me. Here it is. This is my top 5. Starting off with our top 5 teams: Ohio State, Penn State, LSU, Miami, Georgia, Florida State, and Texas. Oregon, Illinois, A&M, Oklahoma, and Ole Miss to round out the top 12. Iowa State, Alabama, Utah, Tennessee, Texas Tech, Georgia Tech, Vanderbilt, Auburn, Missouri, Indiana, Michigan, USC, Notre Dame. Yes, I ranked USC above Notre Dame. I'm that down bad right now. That's like you ranking Navy over Army. You can't stomach yourself to do it.
But I think you have to be you got to be realistic about it, right?
People are telling me
Gotta
that
be
USC
realistic.
shouldn't even be ranked, and they're right. USC hasn't beaten much of anybody.
But again, it's still early on, dude. Still early on. I'm not looking at the rankings until give me week 6. Week 6, I'll look at the rankings, and then we could say who's legit and who's not legit. All right.
Right.
You can't say Notre Dame's not legit because they lost 2 games in a row, but they only lost by 4 points combined, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, here's another thing to point out is that these teams that are in the top 25, how long are they going to last for? Is Auburn going to be in? Is Missouri going to be in there? Once they get in the SEC play, are they really going to hold their ground?
I just want to say this right now. I'm going to throw out a hot take that I don't think everybody's ready for. And it pains me to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Lennon, you're going to love this. There's a legitimate shot if they run the table at the end of the season, the Miami Hurricanes could end up the number 1 team in the country. I'm not making this up. If they beat FSU and win out, they're going to end up as the number 1 team in the country. I'm not even joking. If Ohio State loses to Penn State, if Penn State loses to Oregon and LSU drops a game, Miami's number 1.
What about Georgia?
Georgia's going to drop a game at some point.
You just said Georgia's a team.
They are the team in the SEC until Alabama beats them, and then Georgia beats whoever in the SEC title game because Bama's
Who do you think is
another...
better, Miami or Georgia?
See, that's a really good question because you're comparing Carson Beck to his former team.
Yeah. Okay.
I think team-wise, Georgia's better, but I just think if Miami ends up going undefeated.
So you're telling me, let's say, let's say Miami's 9-0, right? And Georgia is 8-1, but they lose on a field goal, right? To another SEC school, let's say Alabama, who's the number one?
Good question. Probably Georgia, I would say.
Yeah. So how can you tell me Miami has a shot to be number one?
Miami's a shot to be number one if they go 12-0 and win their conference.
I don't see them doing
But
that.
here's the thing.
I don't see them doing
Listen to me. If any SEC team runs the table and wins the conference, they're number one. Whether it's Georgia, LSU, Georgia or LSU.
I can't wait for Miami to have another fallout like they did last year.
I want them to fall out. I hate Miami, and you know this. But unfortunately, I need them to go 12-0. It's my only shot to make the dance. Literally, the only shot. So, yeah, that is my first edition of the top 25. Now let's get my joke list out of the way because everybody's going to think I'm an idiot for this list. And if you do, come at me. Leave some comments. You're only helping me if you watch the show. I'm just kidding. Watch the show. We love you guys. Anyway, that's enough about my bickering. I do want to get into the actual top 25, which I'm about to pull up right here on screen. And there you go. Right there is the actual official On 3 top 25. What do we think this week, Jake? I think it's honestly pretty good.
Well, the one team that stands out to me, and I'm glad that they're still there, is Notre Dame, right? For the fools to think that they shouldn't be in the top 25 because they're
you don't know how the
0-2.
ranking. You don't know how the ranking.
Yeah, no. And
because
again,
look who they lost to: number 4 and number 10.
Yeah. So back to our points is that like Notre Dame lost 2 games combined to 4 points. With that being said, they should be in the top 25 still, and I think they did a great job. What I think they could have put them 25 or 24. It really doesn't matter. The rest of the standings, I think is pretty good. Again, it's week. That was week 3. Can't really tell you who's gonna be that team, right, and who's gonna be another flake. But again, I shout out to Georgia Tech holding their ground at 18, right?
Shout out my Yellow Jackets.
Auburn and Missouri. Yep. Illinois. Again, I think Illinois. Last week you talked about how Illinois might be another could be
We're
Indiana
about
there.
To find out because they play Indiana this weekend.
Yeah. Listen, again, we got another top 25 showdown. Let's see who should really be in the top 25 unless they should both.
The most intriguing thing in this top 25 is 16 and 17.
I was just gonna get to that.
Our Empire Sports Media Game of the Week, Utah versus Texas Tech.
Yeah.
The first time we are doing an all Big 12 Game of the Week. I'm actually excited. We're doing something different.
And showing love to them.
Doing the first noon stream since Ohio State, Penn State. Been a while since we did that. It was either that or Auburn, Oklahoma. I just did an Oklahoma game. I want to do something else because the We Sport and Crew took the Illinois-Indiana game, so we're going to take the Utah-Texas Tech game. It'll be a fun one because I'm definitely not doing Notre Dame-Purdue. That's for damn sure. If they lose to Purdue, so help me God. Yeah, so that pretty much does it for the top 25. So let's not waste any time. Let's get a pick 'em, baby. And I'll tell you what, I'm hoping I do a lot better than last week because I'm noticing this. I went in my complete pick 'em, I got 12 games wrong. I was horrible.
Let's try to go near perfect here.
I would love to. I'm actually hoping that ESPN has an actual good one. You know what? We're going to do things a little bit differently now. I have a thing that picks every single college football game. If you want to, I can pull that one up, unless you want to stick to the regular ESPN one.
Let's stick to the regular one.
All right. I'll tell you what, though. When rivalry week happens, we're picking every single one.
Yeah.
Every single one. I think we could all agree on that. Yeah, that's completely fair. I'm not going to show you my record because my record's pretty embarrassing. It's 10-10 somehow. But then if you count the ones I did from the other week, I believe I was like, oh, wow, hot out the gate. Okay, well, this makes my job easier because they got the freaking game of the week as the very first one. So we are going to obviously save that for the end, because that's how we do things here. All right, starting things off with Arkansas and Memphis. Memphis coming off a big blowout victory at Troy this past weekend, taking on the Razorbacks.
Let's go with the American. Let's go Memphis Tigers, 3-0.
Memphis Tigers are 3-0 right now. But, man, I just love this Arkansas team. They should have beat Ole Miss. They're going to get the job done this week. I'm going with the Razorbacks.
Go Hogs.
Woo Pig. SMU versus TCU, the battle of shockingly intriguing teams. TCU comes in as the favorite.
The battle in Dallas.
250 in Texas rivalry. Who do you got, my friend?
Let's go SMU. Let's go. I like their quarterback, Jennings.
I hope to God SMU wins this game because I'm going with the Mustangs again. My poor ponies. Next up, we've got Michigan and Nebraska. This is a good one.
Yeah, Matt Rule, Dylan Raiola. But that's still not going to convince me. Let's go Wolverines here.
Michigan, if you lose this game, you're low cow of the week. I don't care. Give me the Wolverines. You lose this game, you're low cow of the week. If Notre Dame loses to Purdue, obviously they're low cow of the week. Next up, North Carolina versus UCF, the battle of some of the most overrated teams in the history of college football.
I dislike Bill Belichick with my guts. Give me UCF Knights.
Not so fast. I'm going with Chapel Bill and the Tar Heels to knock off the Central Florida Knights. NC State versus Duke. Now, NC State to me are probably the biggest frauds in the country.
Not this week. They're gonna show you why they're pretty solid. And give me NC State Wolfpack.
I sure hope so.
Darian Mensah is going to look terrible. Give me NC State, and they're gonna move on to 4-0.
Florida at Miami.
Florida is one of the worst teams I've ever watched.
But this could be the game that Florida actually shows out.
But that's if. A lot of what ifs. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if Carson Beck throws for 400 yards, which it will happen? Miami Hurricanes will go 4-0.
I just said this team is going to be the number one team in the country. Of course I'm going to pick Miami. Come on now. Next up, Illinois versus Indiana.
God, I think this is a coin toss.
Illinois plus?
I don't want to pick any of them, dude. I really don't.
You don't want to pick?
I should flip a coin.
Oh my gosh.
All right, hold on. I gotta.
You're actually flipping a coin. Holy shit.
Give me Indiana.
Not so fast, my friend. Indiana has proven to me that they are nothing short than the Notre Dame Fighting Irish of the Big Ten. This week and the last 2 weeks, they played a whopping Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, and Indiana State. This is the first time they're actually playing a somewhat good football team. Illinois played three. Okay, they played Duke, but that was supposed to be an actual somewhat good game where people were stupid enough to take Duke. The Fighting Illini are going to win this game, and they're going to win by 20+. Illinois by 1,000,000
That's
this
bold.
week.
That's bold.
I know. Bold's my middle name. Arizona State and Baylor.
Give me Sam Levitt and Kanye Udo. Shout out, former Army running back. Let's go Arizona State Sunday.
Who do they play this week, by the way, Army?
North Texas.
The team that just put up 59 freaking points. I told you the Mean Green were like that, bro.
Huh?
Those are my guys. Yeah. I love the Mean Green. I'm going with ASU, though. By the way, this is one of, if not the worst. This is probably the worst slate of the week. But that's okay. All these bad slates. Get out of the way. All these bad slates have been good, though.
Yeah. Last week, again, what we talked about, Charlotte, Monmouth, Delaware, UConn, like those games were like, those games are terrible. But
I just realized, bro, Mikey's gonna be jumping this weekend. Just peep that. Next up, we've got BYU versus East Carolina.
East Carolina's in the American. That being said, I don't like them. Let's go BYU Cougars.
Let me just say for the record is that East Carolina flat out embarrassed Coastal Carolina this past weekend.
God, I did see that. So
I told you.
Shout out to them.
I told you the Pirates are like that.
Yeah.
Not this week. Not this week. I'm going with the Mormons. All right, and the other games that we are going to touch on, for some reason they're not brought up in here. For I don't know why they're not. Tulane versus Ole Miss. Tulane is a 12.5-point underdog.
Dude, I'm gonna roll with the Green Wave. Dude, I
Wow.
really like that team. I really
Wow.
like them. Come on, you know it. I really like them, dude.
I gotta
really
go
like
hottie.
Johnson
I gotta go hottie toddy on this one. Give me the Rebels. South Carolina versus Missouri.
South Carolina versus Missouri. Let's go Mizzou.
Mizzou?
Let's go the Zoo. Yes, sir.
Going Missouri as well. Following that up with what I think should be a great game, Oklahoma versus Auburn, the transfer quarterback swap. John Mateer to Oklahoma, Jackson Dart to Auburn. That's going to be a crazy game, but I'm going with John Mateer. He convinced me a few weeks ago. I'm rolling with the Sooners again.
Enough said. Let's go Sooners.
Boomer.
John Mater.
Next up,
John
we
Mateer,
got
baby.
Michigan State versus USC. Michigan State is a 17.5-point underdog. That spread's egregious.
I think USC is gonna win it, but I don't think by 17. I'll give them by a touchdown.
I'll be damned if I'm gonna sit here and fucking take USC. Major upset. Michigan State wins. I'm an Aiden Childs believer. And finally, before we get into the big one, Washington versus Washington State. The Apple Cup is back in full swing. One of the best rivalries in all of college football. The Apple Cup. Who's taking it home?
Gosh, Wazoo State looked terrible against Bama, dude. They looked atrocious.
You said Bama?
I said, didn't Wazoo State
No, they
play
played
Bama?
North Texas, idiot.
Alabama?
Wisconsin played Alabama.
Oh, that's right.
Wazoo played North Texas, and North Texas put 59 up on them.
All right. I knew Wazoo State got killed, right? Yeah. So you're getting killed by a North Texas team in the American. I you're gonna think I'm crazy, but give me them. Give me Wazoo. Give me Wazoo.
You're crazy, man.
Give me Wazoo.
You're absolutely crazy.
They're bouncing back.
Give me the Huskies of UW. I'm taking Washington. I am taking Washington. All right. And here we go. It is time. The moment you've all been waiting for. The show closer, the Empire Sports Media Game of the Week. Heads over to Utah for some Big 12 action. Number 17, Texas Tech. Number 16, Utah. Jake Marino. Who are we taking?
Red Raiders.
You're not even going to explain your pick?
No. Red Raiders. Just the Red Raiders.
All right.
That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say.
I'll explain my pick then.
No explanation needed.
This
It'll explain for itself.
This game is going to be an absolute shootout of classic Big 12 football. I personally am super excited for this one. But holy shit, Devin Dampier is the truth. This guy is going to establish himself as a Heisman candidate this weekend. I'm rolling with Utah at home. Give me Devin Dampier and the Utes to knock off Texas Tech in the game of the week.
We really divided this week, dude.
Damn right we did. So one of us is going to be clowning the other. But that is going to be all for this episode of College Football Frenzy. For Jake Marino, I'm JJ Seglio. Signing off. Have a great rest of your day.
We're parked out by the tracks. We're sitting in the back and we just started getting busy when she whispered, "What was that?"